from here. Presentation. All right, so we'll just start it from here. Sorry, online folks, you missed not a whole lot. So again, Wolves are third grade, Bears are fourth grade, Webelos are fifth and sixth grade. So that's and Webelos, for all of your Webelos leaders, the easiest way to understand what Webelos means is we be loyal scouts. It's taking the first two letters of each of those words, or a couple of letters from each of those words, and putting it together. So that's what Webelos means. We be loyal scouts. And the scouting program is excellent in that it tries to teach you a little bit of everything. It's just like any other teacher curriculum where it focuses on a couple of key things. One is always going to be activities, sports activity, team building activity. It's always going to be an activity. Another is going to be nature, interacting with nature, studying the outdoors, taking a hike, doing what they call a 1 foot hike. Go 1 foot and just look at the grass and the ground around you and see if you see any insects or bugs or anything else like that. This is going to be this interaction with nature. Another one is going to be about citizenship. And it changes depending on the age level to meet the kids where they are and their level of expertise. But citizenship is going to be about learning about your fire department, your police department, learning about the responsibilities of the citizen, of voting and responsibilities of government. That's all going to be a part of citizenship. And then there's also going to be one about outdoor skills and hiking. Camping. So how to pitch a tent, how to cook, how to clean up after yourself, how to build a fire. All of these are, so each grade level is going to have an activity that fits into that category, age appropriate for the kids. And so that's what, that's kind of what all these belt loops are. And let's see if I can say this. Do I have this? Yeah. So,
can we go back maybe just a little bit for the new then leaders?
Yes, sir.
So under each categories, you would have a mandated activity that needs to be covered. So let's say, for example, my tiger jungle, or the lion's honor, for example. So under each of these lines, you will have a list of activity that needs to be covered, so you can complete that overall kind of requirements, right? So you want to make sure that when you're actually having the meetings, that you understand those requirements, it's kind of the sub requirements, so you can cover it whether it's in one meeting or two meetings. But just to understand that all the activities under that category needs to be fulfilled. Okay.
And that's in the handbook.
That's in the handbook, correct? Yes. So the handbook will give you the chapters, and then we'll give you all of them.
So here's each handbook, everybody should have a handbook. There are things, these handbooks are useful, even if you don't, so they give you the main requirements. They also have possible sample activities that you can do. You can do your whole DEN meeting around getting an activity pen or activity loop. If you do a little prior preparation, and know what you need, what questions you need to ask, you can get through an activity pen or belt loop in one meeting. Just by kind of following the steps. Or you can get what they call a leader guidebook, and there are several of these online. We'll show you where to get to these online as well. But the guidebook has almost the same thing as a handbook, but then it has a little bit more in terms of some additional activities. It gives you a kind of step-by-step of what you can do. And so both of these are excellent resources. I have those here for what I have, Lions, Webelos, and Wolves. If you haven't seen one and you want to take a look at it, I can pass it around. Actually, I will leave it here because I don't want to distract you while I'm going through the presentation. So I'll leave it here though, and you can take a look at it as we transition between activities. The other thing that we really want to emphasize, and I'm going to do my job to be the bad guy and emphasize that at the meeting today, but you still have to be responsible for it, is ensuring that the kids participate in the activities. And if they don't participate in the activities, know that either they do it at home or they don't progress and they won't get their final badge. They can still move on to the next year, but we don't want to it's not We don't want to hand out participation awards. We want the kids to actually earn it. We want them to learn those skills. So we truly want them to complete the requirements. Now, we may modify a requirement to fit our needs and purpose, but we want them to get as much of that as possible. Each requirement has typically like 4 or 5 required things and a couple of electives. As a den leader, you may elect to do something different. That's absolutely fine. You're within your right to do that. Feel free to freestyle and make it work. But know that we want to serve the mission. We want to make sure that we do as much as we can of the actual goal that we feel like we can accomplish. So I think I roughly went through this already. Citizenship, duty to God. That was the one I missed. So there is always going to be a duty to God component. Scouting was built around a Christian principles, and ideally those same Christian principles are very much fit in line with Islam. The Scout Oath, it has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attributes almost mimic the Scout Oath. The Scout is helpful, trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. All of those you can find support for in Islam. And so it is our job as den leaders to merge that into our meetings and how to make it natural. A lot of den leaders have the kids start off with Al-Fatiha or open up with the surah or close with the dua. You do what's age appropriate for your den, but try to work that in as much as you can. All right. So the Den Leader Guidebooks, I believe the Den Leader onboarding document has the link. This is that same link, but with a QR code. I see somebody say that was the whole reason I put it up here, was so we can do that. And I can send this slide out, the slide deck out, and put it on the folder if anybody wants to go back to it. I don't have a problem with that. The next thing I have is gathering games. So if you, I'm doing on time. Gathering games. All right. So the basic format of the meeting is always going to be gathering activity, something that keeps the kids occupied while you're waiting on parents to get there. We would love our parents. We want parents to be on time. They are almost never all on time. So you got to build that into your lesson plan, because if you start with the end game, so you end up having to repeat. So have some type of gathering activity. Initial ones when the dens come together is a name game. You know, we throw the ball to each other, say your name or something else. Gathering games, you can just Google gathering games for Cub Scouts, or you can do icebreakers. They're essentially the same thing for a meeting or something else like that. You're just trying to create some type of activities, something they can interact, where they can spend some time. And then you want to close with activities. The Scout book is great on the closing activities. That'll re-emphasize whatever it is that you're trying to talk about for that activity pen or that activity book. So look to the Scout book for a lot of those. And again, scouting is a well-established system. You can Google almost any topic in scouting and find, several pages out there. So just enjoy that and utilize that as a resource. Scout book is where you're going to be entering the data for all the belt loops and activity pins. That's where you do your tracking system. Our goal as a pack is to put that responsibility on the parents. So I will be honest, most of my parents have never done it. It is our goal, though, to put it on the parents. So I am going to suggest heavily you put it on the parents. Set that as expectation up that the parents need to go to scoutbook.scouting.org, find their kid, and be responsible for updating it. The thing that you need to do then is, for your den meeting, you need to tell them what activity did they complete. You have to communicate that to their den so that they know what to update. And because we're kind of short on time, I think we'll take maybe the first den meeting to just go through Scout book, Everybody can get online, because I don't know if anybody can be online now, but you'll be in a home environment. Everybody should be able to get the Wi-Fi. So we'll do it from a home environment, go through Scoutbook. And there's a couple of really easy ways for you to update your whole den. Say everybody did this, we went on a hike this day, they completed that, bam, 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 you're done. So it makes it really easy from a scout leader perspective, but again, as a pack, we are trying to push that responsibility onto the parents so that they get used to using Scoutbook. All right. So I was really going to keep it short today. So,
Should we, what is first meeting would look like? Maybe walk. the lead.
first walk
Like,
through
what would be the
first den meeting.
Yeah, first the meeting. What would you be
All right.
suggesting?
Yeah, like the Bobcat, I think is like supposed to be first.
Yes.
Like, I don't know how to get everybody to
All right.
repeat, like, do they have to have it memorized or?
Yes. All right. So the responsibility. All right. Here's the scout. If you have your back of your book, this one has it right here. So the scout oath and the scout law are requirements for the Bobcat badge, and the scout salutes, and the scout handshake, and the motto. Huh? Oh yeah, the scout sign. All right. So if you've never heard the phrase "scout sign up," you will hear that phrase until your ears bleed. As long as you're part of the scouting program. So scout signs up is another way of saying if you ever been to ears open, mouth closed, right? So the scout sign is actually supposed to be the wolf ears of Aquila. That's what it's supposed to represent. His ears are open. You're listening, you're not talking. So scout signs up, it's a call for parents, kids. So this is the scout sign. The activity that I've done a couple of years, and I don't have it here, is to the first meeting, kind of go over like for lions, tigers, the scout handshake.